Hello. You're going to join me with just a little bit of gentle hip stretching between having to do some other things. I know, what do I need to do today except yoga? I'm actually having a sutra study too, and that's coming in about 3/4 of an hour, so I've got half an hour just to stretch my hips out before I go and do the sutras with Penny. Okay, so Christine, I'm thinking of you. I have you in my mind. We're doing these hips. Okay, so I've got a blanket, I've got a belt, and I've got 2 bricks. We'll start in Sukhasana. So have yourself sitting on a height. I feel really sneaky, I don't know why. So sit on a height, Sukhasana, and why not go with the opposite cross of the legs? Everything's changing. So if we start with something we can deal with, this, it does feel freaky. Even after 20-something years of doing this, it still doesn't feel quite as easy. So sit tall. At this point, for me, I have the Iyengar invocation going through my head. So you can sit quietly, bring your hands to Namaskarasana, roll the shoulder blades deep into the back. The invocation to Patanjali is what goes through my head. If you want to just sit, repeat the Lord's Prayer, or just a really nice intention or a good happy thought to someone that you care about, send them some love. Relax the shoulders, relax the eyes, release the tongue. Or if you're stuck for someone, give yourself some internal love. Lift your heart and just allow your eyes to relax, your tongue to relax. Let the senses draw a little inwards. The withdrawal of the senses is pratyahara. So just withdrawing a little. The third limb of yoga is asana. It means a comfortable seat. Sukha means easy, happy, or a well-balanced, a well-centered wheel. So Sukhasana, you should feel centered. Find the place to focus on where, so navel, heart area, that you feel centered. So when things are out of kilter, we need to bring ourselves back into the balance. We can do that with the breath. And noticing that we're releasing the skin of the whole of the body whilst drawing the inner energy up. Relax the eyes and release the tongue. Soften the face. Breath smooth and even. Allow the busy brain to pause a little so that the mind, the consciousness sinks below the busy brain through the trapdoor into the heart, quietness of the heart. Relax the eyes and release the tongue, soften the face. Breathe. Allow any external noises, whether it's the traffic on my video or the drilling that you can hear every once in a while, whether it's something outside of this video, in your own space. Just withdraw from that. Come into your heart whilst absorbing the sensation of the whole of the skin on the body. Allow the knees to draw in towards your hips, so the hips feel contained and supportive. Take 3 deeper inhalations, allowing the breath to wash over the top of the skull, the coolness there, you'll feel it, as if you're detangling your mind. Lift the heart, bow the head. nose, the face. Change across of the legs. Kathy, if you're watching this, make sure you're sitting on enough height. Interlace the fingers, push the palms away, raise the arms up, stretch up, lift the chest, lengthen through the side ribs, lengthen through the back ribs, sit down into your pelvis, sit the buttock bones down, lower the hands, change the interlace, push the palms away, and raise the arms up. Stretch up, lift and lengthen, relax the eyes, release the tongue, and then exhale, release. We're going to come to Baddha Konasana. So take your bricks and put them behind you, because you can then use your hands for support without compromising your fingers, especially if you've got sort of arthritic hands and they become a bit tight. It's much better to not stress the joints there. Okay, so Baddha Konasana, the soles of the feet come together, knees go wide. Some of you, I can tell, are already in it. So here, soles of the feet are together, hands rest back, check that your knees feel completely comfortable, and open up the chest, taking those knees down. Now, Gita says, I think it's in Gem for Women, to breathe from the groins. So it's a case of taking your awareness and the gentle release of the exhalation into that space without losing the firmness of the hips. So we don't want to hang on the back here. We want to actually feel that as the knees go down, the hips are really feeling like there's support as the sacrum is staying in. So keep the sacrum up, feel the support of the hips and the gentle release through the groins. Now if you're sitting up with the knees up quite high, you might find sitting on a second blanket or something might be easier. So you can go and grab a second blanket and then come back. Hannah, definitely grab a second blanket. Open up the chest, roll the shoulders back, and allow the spine. So just bring your awareness now to the spine and feel how the spine feels like it's moving deep into the back. And if you press the little toe side of the feet towards each other, as long as it's comfortable in the knees, you'll start to notice that the heels will come apart a little bit more. And if you've got that action, press the hands down so the buttocks become a little lighter. And then bring your awareness to the buttock bones and you'll start to feel the inner energy coming up through the buttock bones, and then draw that energy up through the spine, up into the chest. Take some breaths there, releasing when you need to. One more breath. And then release. So, if the feet are held tight, so if you press the feet together, feel how the the groins feel a little bit tighter, but also feel how the hips become a little bit more compact. So we're finding the balance between those things. This is for those of you that your hips are tight, and those of you whose hips are loose are going to find this a doddle. We're doing Kamalasana. So you're going to turn your right toes away a little, and if you look, the arch of the foot is now faced up, and the arch is in the center line. And then we're going to take the right leg and do exactly the same thing. Now, because the feet are so turned now, can you see how much easier it is for me to get my knees down? Very simple. Again, we can use the bricks for support and just feel the difference in the thigh. Feel how there's a length now coming through from the inner leg groin out to the inner knee, both sides. Feel how the spine is much more easily up. I can let go. I don't need to hold myself. Yeah? If you think, there's a beautiful picture of B.K.S. Iyengar, he's got his hands, I think he's in Baddha Konasana with his hands in prayer position. And I tried that. It's like, whoa, that's hard work. But this is very simple. So just try that. See if you can let your hands go. Bring the hands to Namaskadasana. And then the point just below the bra strap, just below the bottom line of the shoulder blades. Move that area forwards and up So just a little bit more up than forwards, and you should feel a length come through the lower back and around the sides waist. Place the hands back down, and now we're going to change across to the feet. So just walk back a little bit, release your right leg out, release your left leg out. Sorry, release your left leg out, release your right leg out, and then draw your left leg in, and notice that rotation. So the thigh rolls out. Turn the sole of the foot up like you're looking for a splinter. There's something so satisfying about being able to get your own splinter out of your own foot. I think I'm getting to an age now though where I'm going to need a magnifying glass as well, which is a bit tricky. I keep hoping that I'm putting off the glasses, but it's going to get me one day, I imagine. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then turn your right leg in as well for Kamalasana. So it's the second side. Okay, check that everything feels comfortable, knees comfortable. Now, again, the release here. Try not to push in with the lower back. The lower back will respond very easily. We have to become more conscious of the upper back. Yeah, and drawing the shoulder blades just at the base of the shoulder blades, in and up, like at a 45-degree angle. So if you imagine I'm lifting my heart to the sun, yeah? Use the hands for support. Move the sacrum in. Lift the dorsal spine away so you feel a length through both sides of the waist. Enjoy this beautiful, beautiful upliftment. It's a lot less stress. And even if you just feel the groins are feeling a little bit better, that's cool, you're on the way. Feel the openness of the groins again. And now see whether you can maintain that sense of feeling to come back to the Baddha Konasana. So you're going to release your right leg out. Release your left leg out. And then if you take your hands behind the backs of the knees, draw both legs in, pull them in towards the body, and let yourself remember what it's like to let go of this space, how it feels, the directionality of the energy through the legs, but also the firmness of the hips. And if you're here and you feel like you don't need your arms, I'm not going to ask you to do Namaskarsana, prayer position. Just take your belt. If you have any kind of back issues, keep your hands behind you supporting, or if you're particularly tired, or you can lean back against the wall. Alternatively, take the belt and place it underneath the blades of the feet. Yeah? And then hold the belt, palms facing up. Then you can pull the belt towards you, roll the shoulders back, and allow yourself to hold the Baddha Konasana here. So we're addressing two things. We're addressing the pelvis, the hips, okay, 3 things, and the breath. More than 3 things. Oh, knees, you've got to make sure they're comfortable. Neck, soft. Okay, let's address 3 things. Body, mind, breath. Ease of body, sense of peace in the mind, evenness of breath. A couple of moments here. And it should feel uplifting. It should feel beautiful. Bow the head to the heart again, look down, lifting the heart to the head, release the hands. Hands back behind you, just see how that feels. Open the chest, and then lean back, put your hands behind the backs of the knees, bring the legs together. Stretch the legs out. Now, Christine, you won't like this one, but you've got to do it, because your legs need it. Okay, your legs like this one, even though your brain says no, it doesn't. And even if you think your legs say no, it doesn't. Christine, take your legs wide. And have a look at them. Look how wide I've got my legs, okay? You can't see my feet. Now see whether you can just sit here for a moment with your legs as wide as they will go. So take them a little bit wider now. See whether they will go. Pull the buttock flesh out and back. And then let's take them wider. Now again, we want to feel a balance through the inner and outer leg. Hands back behind, lift up through the chest, and we're basically trying to get a nice containment through the knees, so that if you picture you've got levels, spirit levels on the knees, inner knee pinned down, outer knee pinned down, so we've got four corners of the knee. And then picture those four corners of the knee being the back of the knee as well. Get them to be parallel to the ground, unless you're on a slopey ground. Nope, it'd still be fine. So parallel to the front of the knee, so we've got them running together. Stretch into the heels, roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. Draw the thighs back up into the hips. Take a couple of breaths there. You might find, so I'm still up on the blanket, you might find that you can go into the pose just a little bit more. So for me, my blanket is quite low. If you find that you can't sit up on your bottom bones, sit up on a couple of blankets or a couple of foam pads, but make sure you keep the grip of the thighs. We're just going to stay here for 3 more breaths, 3 more points of attention. Going to speed the breath up. Relax the shoulders. Stretching through into the heels, check the legs are still firm. Heels pulling back into the pelvis, back into the hip sockets. And then look down, put your hands on the inside edge of the knees, lean back, draw the feet in. Okay? Sukhasana. So I'm now going to sit down on the floor because I know my knees don't mind. You can stay up on a height, but if you're staying up on a height, where your head, when your head comes forwards, yeah? As your head comes forwards, you'll need to have a support for the head. So don't let your head drop lower than your bottom. Lift up through the chest. Sit down into the buttocks, and then a coiling action from the hips. Exhale, fold forwards. Release the head down. Release across the shoulders. And because this is the first one, I'm just going to take my brick, rest my forehead on it because it's super quietening for the brain. So if you've never rested your head on a brick, imagine you're going, oh, unbelievable. What is she talking about now? Yeah? So that kind of pressure you put on your forehead like that, that's the pressure when you put your head on the brick. Unbelievable. Okay? So you're going to do that. So you stretch the arms forwards and rest the head down. And your head should actually just go, oh, thank you. Abdomen broad. So you're not forcing yourself. If that's not high enough for you, this. So you turn the brick right up on its end, making a pile until you feel like you can. And if you're still sitting upright because you can't go forwards, just allow yourself to be there. Inhale, come up, change across to the legs. Coiling from the hips, exhale, fold forwards. Check the left and the right side. Stretch the arms forwards. As the arms come forward, sit back into the hips. Relax the eyes and release the tongue. Look forwards. Inhale, come up. Back to the first cross of the legs. So I'm going to do this sideways on my mat so you can see the other way around. Cross legs, so you choose. Okay, my buttock bones are nice and down. I'm going to coil from the pelvis, abdomen soft, stretching my arms forwards, releasing. Relax the eyes, release the tongue. Inhaling, look forwards. Exhale, walking the hands back. Sit tall. Stretch the legs forward. So the one that's on the outside will come on the inside first. So outside leg, stretch it forwards. Inside leg, stretch it forwards. Drawing the old outside leg in first. And the old inside leg on the outside. Sit into the buttocks. So you've got plugging of the tailbone down. If you picture a 3-pin plug, if you want to get energy out of that 3-pin plug, it has to fit into the wall socket exactly the right way. If you put it in one, if you try and get it in any other way, it's not going to work. Okay, I'm sure there's some people out there going, yes it will, and okay, but you get the idea. All right, so keep this pin down, and then exhale, fold forwards again. Releasing through the hips, releasing the head down. Relax the eyes and release the tongue. Breathe. So this is my tighter side, can you believe it? And so I'm making a decision. I can believe it. To put my head on a brick. That's just a little too high for me. There we go. Feel the back of the neck soften, feel the breath soften. Sit well within. Observe. Be kind. And then inhale, come up. So you're going to walk your hands back. Lift up through the chest. Sit tall. And then stretch the legs forward, Dandasana. Okay, we've got Siddhasana next. Perfect pose. So you might want to sit on 1 or 2 foam pads. Often we think if the knees don't go down, we need to come down on onto less height. It actually, for this pose, it works in reverse. If your knees don't come down, the stiffness of the hips require you to go up a little higher, and then to pad those knees up with maybe some pillows or a couple of foam pads. So have anything that you need. Go and get it if you need it. Okay? And as you go and get it, don't run. Just walk gracefully. You're going to stretch the legs forwards. And then I'm going to ask you to bring your left leg in first and bring the heel into the midline of the body. And then I'm going to ask you to bring your right leg in second and bring the heel in line. Okay, and now just sit tall and just see how that feels. Now if your knees are up like this, release your legs, sit yourself up on a bit of more height, and then see whether, if you sit on the front edge of the height, whether that's actually aided the knees to go down. If it doesn't, you can always just sit with your legs in cross legs. Okay? Here, we're going to take the right foot, and we're going to post the toes in the gap. Okay? Just below the calf muscle. Yeah, so your big toe disappears. It's a good winter pose because it keeps toes warm. And then you press the heels in, and you lift the chest. Now as you do that, feel how that connects the pelvis. Feel that sense of support you've then got again around this area, and feel how you've got the lift through the body there. Okay? Then you can bring the thumb and the index finger into perfect circles if you can. So we're connecting the individual spirit with the universal spirit here. And a circle is the most perfect entity. Doesn't have an ending, doesn't have a beginning. Just keeps going. Roll the shoulders back, connect the triceps. And then for me, I visualize sort of those beautiful images of the chakras, where they show the nadis, you know, the sushumna, so the energy channels of the body. And I picture myself filling that space, widen between the eyebrows, and feel the support that the pelvis is giving you through the action of the heels and the legs. Breathe up into the chest, releasing the back of the neck. So the hips are supporting us again. So the lower back pressure is taken off. Keep the legs active, so you're not just sitting in the pelvis, it's actually drawing in and up, a bit like a flower pot. As you breathe, release the neck. Relax the eyes and release the tongue. Again, focusing on three things: body, mind, breath. A few more moments here. Just release the head down a little. Open the eyes, release the hands. And then release the legs, so just look out the toes. Don't worry if the toes didn't go there, you stay in your sukhasana. Take the right leg forward, stretch it out. Take the left leg forward, stretch it out. Open up the toes, widen the soles of the feet. So you get a real sense that you've just opened the channels up through the legs, and then pull the heels back in, using your hands for support if you need to. Next side, you're going to bring the right leg in first, bring the heel into the midline, sole of the foot faces up here, okay? Left heel into the midline. Look at how I've put my hands just to the back of the knee. It's in order to lift the leg and to keep the hamstrings and the calves soft, so that we keep enough space in the knee joints as possible. Alright, and just sit here and again check the knees. Just because one side was easy doesn't mean that the other side was easy. Then we're going to post the toes through the gap. Okay, so quietly, toes post in, and then connect into the heels, and again feel that firmness of the pelvis. Feel that containment of the pelvis. So I said about the flower pot. If you think about this being a terracotta pot, okay, and then the spine being the stem of the flower, and then the head being the sunflower. Yeah, and picture that actually from the head of the sunflower, the seeds come, you've got petals, and you're trying to grow those petals out. Yeah? And then hands, thumb and index finger together, fingers extended, universal spirit with the individual spirit. Shoulder blades, Siddhasana. Relax the eyes, release the tongue, breathe. Let the breath release completely. So when I say to release the breath, it doesn't mean just breathe willy-nilly. It means let the breath go to where it needs to go. It means don't hold on to the breath. Draw the breath in like you're greeting a friend, and releasing the breath like you know the friend's coming back in. Again, allowing any external noises just to wash over you, whether it's from this sequence your attention is what you see, what you think, what your brain speaks is how you feel. So I can hear the birds and I can hear the lift, I can feel the lift of my spine, the smoothness, the silkiness of the breath, the relax of the face, the support of the pelvis, with the wholeness of the hand mudra, the hand gesture, the firmness through the baby finger, the ring finger, the middle finger, and the wholeness of the index finger to the thumb, whole, W-H-O-L-E, but also in creating the perfect circular whole, H-O-L-E. Enjoy a few more moments here. Release the hands, palms down. Roll the shoulder blades back. Open the eyes, gaze down. Release the legs forwards. Stretch out the legs, lift up through the chest. Okay, so now we're going to bring the left leg back towards the midline, but so that the foot now, sole of the foot is coming underneath the thigh of the the right leg as it goes forwards. And then you're going to bend the right leg, and as if again you're looking for that splinter, so you want to keep the knee soft and the knee quiet. And one way to get into the Padmasana pose is to make sure that the line of the leg is following directly out through the knee, and then you very softly guide the foot up. Don't lean back as you do this. Stay upright so that the hip tells you what it can do. Don't force it. And then we come to Ardha Padmasana. Press onto the knees, shoulder blades deep into the back, spine long. Lift the chest, and then because we're just tasting the ground, we're just tasting the pose, tasting the ground, I was looking at the ground then, tasting the pose. How does it feel? And then release, stretch the leg forwards, right leg forwards, left leg forwards. So now you're going to take your right leg, bring it under the left leg, being kind to your knees, and then take the left leg. And notice how when you take the leg into Lotus, the calf muscle and the thigh flesh come this way. Okay, keep the foot soft, knee down, lift up through the spine, and come into Ardha Padmasana again. Relax the eyes, release the tongue, shoulder blades deep into the back. This should feel very easeful. If it doesn't, go back to Sukhasana and breathe. And then release. You have the opportunity to do it again. So those of you that know you can do Padmasana and you're happy doing Padmasana, you can do it on the flat. Come off, do it on the flat. If you're not sure, stay with the blanket and just do half Padmasana again, because you'll know when your brain goes, oh, I'm ready to try that, then you'll know you're ready. So you're not trying to force anything beyond your own capacity, beyond your own capability. So let's draw the right leg in, and then the left leg in. But instead of it, so we've now got the legs crossed like this, yeah? Lean forwards and like you're picking up something very precious. Draw that foot up and over. So we're in half Padmasana with the left leg in first, okay? Wriggle your right leg forwards and lean forwards just a little, so that we're keeping the spine and the pelvis in the right place. Support underneath the ankle, underneath the side of the foot, and quietly draw the foot in. You've got Padmasana. Don't force it. If you're fighting with yourself, you're just fighting with yourself. I remember once being told that how we approach our poses is how we approach our life. And it's like, oh, okay, Came as a wake-up call and an enlightening moment at the same time. Lift through the chest, relax the eyes and release the tongue. If you feel like you'd like to lean forwards at this point, exhale, fold forwards. You don't have to. You can stay upright. Inhale, come up. And as you came into the pose, so you come out of the pose. So sit tall, quietly release that leg forwards, let it come down, quietly release the other leg out, stretch your left leg forwards, right leg forwards, sit tall. Now we're going to do the opposite side. So you're going to bring your left leg in, and your right, left leg in. No, I got confused. Right leg in. Stop! This is like being in class, okay? You're going to bring your left leg in. That's it. Bring your right leg in. Sit tall, and then bring the right leg onto the left thigh. Okay? And then bring the left leg onto the right thigh. So wriggle forwards with that foot. Let the right knee drop down. Turn the foot and then draw the leg in and over. Now this is my tighter side. Can you see how this knee is higher? But if I think about my buttock bones, my right buttock bone, my left, but you'd see it as your right, is actually square to the floor. My right buttock bone, my right buttock flesh, which is you're on your left side as you're mirroring me, is actually moving forwards a little. So I need to just lean over to my left side and pull that buttock flesh out. And then the knee has come down, it's become a little quieter. Soles of the feet come up, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Feel the grip of the pelvis, feel the connection. Now as you press the shins together, so you're pressing the top shin down to the lower shin, feel what happens to the body. So just rest your hands on your thighs, press the top shin down to the lower shin towards the top shin, and feel what happens. If you're not sure, just gently release the pressure off. You'll feel the body sink. So pressurize them again one more time and breathe. Those of you that wish to, exhale, fold forwards. Rest the head down. Inhale, come up. Sit tall. And gently release the legs. You can do it again. Let the knees come back to normal. So don't force the legs straight. You're having this conversation with your own body. Union, yoga means union, one of the meanings, and you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know what your body needs, and every day is different. When you're ready, opening up the backs of the legs, make the thighs stronger, make the calves open and broaden. Come back to your sukhasana. Sit tall. Relax the eyes, release the tongue, grip through the hips. Breathe. stretch the legs out. Change the cross of the legs. Sit tall again. You should feel that you're much taller through the inner body than you felt at the beginning of the practice. Smoother, softer around the skin. Ready? Stretch the legs out one more time, and then we'll take Shavasana. So for me, I like to have a pillow under my head. When you go into your Shavasana, start with the legs bent, puts less pressure on the spine. Walk yourself back. If you want to stay with your legs bent, do so. And just rest until you feel like it's ready. It's ready, the body's ready, the brain's ready, the breath's ready to move on. Shoulder blades deep into the back, and quietly stretch the legs away. Take a few deeper inhalations, just to close the physical practice. At the end of your third inhalation, focus on the long, slow, smooth exhale as you let go completely, dissolving into the earth, releasing the matter of the body, letting it go down, releasing, releasing, releasing. Let go completely. Stay here as long as you wish. When you're ready, you sit yourself up by carefully rolling onto the side. So bending up the legs, roll onto your side, and quietly and carefully sit yourself up without disturbing the brain, and keeping a sense of deep peace and quiet within. Enjoy the rest of your Shavasana, and I'll see you soon. Bye.